From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all, it's Caroline Gant.
Hey, y'all, it's Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship.
And we've got an interesting show today. I guess we should say an interesting recording because all three of us are doing this from our homes. Man, it's been great.
You don't sound convinced that it's been great.
I'm not convinced. I'm not all that thrilled, to be honest. I'm thrilled to be with you guys doing this because it lets us kind of use our brains for a minute and do something because we have been cooped up in our homes for the past, 5 days?
5 days.
Ooh.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, this is the 6th. Yeah, this is the 6th day.
Y'all, what we're talking about is we're in Nashville, Tennessee, as y'all know, and we got a crazy snowstorm, and not just snow, but ice, ice all over the place. The trees are covered, the ground is covered. No one has been really able to leave. It's been fairly intense, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I lost power for 3 days. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
got a little cold.
I'm so sorry about that, and our hearts definitely go out to those still without power. It's going to be a long road for us here in Nashville, and also folks going down through Mississippi. It's just kind of one of those things, you know. There was one back in the 90s, kind of a generational event that we endured.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Back in
In
the
the
90s.
90s.
94, and I remember that one too.
Now
That
they're going
one
to
was
say back
crazy.
in the 20s.
Can y'all believe 94 was 30 years ago now?
Oh gosh, and I
32?
remember it. Yeah,
Seriously?
it was a long
Mm-hmm.
time ago.
Well, I got to say, I'm never going to forget this one either because, I just don't see. I mean, we're getting up to I don't know, 37, 38 today, maybe, but it's
But
not
the
a
sun's
lot of
not coming out.
sunshine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super cloudy and things are just not melting. And I don't know when, I mean, my personal vehicle and my wife's personal vehicle can't even get out of our driveway. Don't know when we'll be getting out. So, y'all send supplies. I'm going to need Tyler to send a drone with some bread or something.
The drone could only
Are you
go
guys
4
running
miles,
out of
Austin. I've
food?
got to drive up to you and send it over.
All right, drive 4 miles
I
away
could
from my
probably
house. Lift the drone.
I could probably drop you a Werther's original if you want a
Okay,
single Werther's original
I'd take it. I'll take anything right
You
now.
take
on like
anything.
a string.
Uh-huh. Whew. But
I'm
anyway,
so sorry.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
We'll all get through this. I guess
pretty
we should
rough.
mention a little bit about the plant life and see how they're going to get through this because really, I guess the biggest thing I've noticed is the ice, and it's mainly on our deciduous trees, which is typically what we have here like crazy. And I mean, all the branches still totally covered with ice, has not melted yet. And I did want to mention something somewhat interesting to me. I've gotten some people have reached out to me, asking me questions about their plant life and such. And one thing I really noticed that I thought was super cool is I've got this treeform hydrangea, and it's all sticks right now. Obviously, it has its leftover blooms that are still on it. Haven't cut them because I think they're fairly attractive this year, and it was loaded down with ice. When I came down out the next
No.
morning, it was so bent over. I mean, the front limbs were, I'm not going to say close to touching the ground, but not even joking, they kind of were. And it just so weighed down. Well, yesterday it was very sunny and it's up against a brick wall next to my house. So the radiant heat, I guess, was able to melt the ice off of those sticks. Well, I went out today and I noticed that because I was wondering, I'm like, are these sticks going to raise back up or are they just going to be turned down? I mean, and then I'm going to prune it anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. But I came out this morning and I took a look at it, and all those stems are standing right back up the way they were before the ice. Isn't
Amazing.
that
Yeah, mine,
cool?
it's cool. Mine did the same thing, and then I kicked off all the blooms while I was watching our electric company come cut down a bunch of branches on one of my trees, and then the stick stood
You
back up.
karate kicked them off, or
I
what?
was
What do you
I
mean?
was karate kicking everything in my yard. I've been so bored. Yeah. They
Oh,
were
that's a
all leaning
funny.
down, and some were all the way down to the ground. And I went over and I stepped on one, and it was so satisfying that the ones that were up, I started Chuck Norris style, kicking them off and then stomping them. It was great.
I mean, I've never heard of this pruning practice before, but I'm all for it.
I did it to a lot of my switchgrass too. And actually, Derek was out there and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, just kick it with your foot flex straight across." And he was like, "No." And I was like,
Shut
"Do it.
up
It's
and
gonna
kick
feel
it.
good." And he did. And then he wanted to keep doing it too. So
Uh-huh.
we've been karate kicking our plants left and right.
Well, that's pretty hysterical. I will notice I've got the same switchgrass you've got as well, and I will say my 7-year-old Marley went out there and she was straight up karate chopping the
Yes,
ice off of the grass, and it was pretty
Marley gets
satisfying.
it. Yeah.
He
Did you
gets
do
it.
it with her?
I just watched her. I didn't want
Uh,
it. Wasn't trying to get all cold, icy, and all that.
get out there again. I mean, what? We've got probably 5 more days of this ice that you can karate chop and karate kick your deciduous plants.
Yeah,
Do it.
I guess we could.
Well, I sent you guys a picture of my Carl Fuchs, the
Oh
cedar
yeah.
laying all the way down. Not cedar. I mean, it's well, I get it's a. Is it a blue Atlas cedar? They just
Yeah,
call it a Himalayan cedar. Yeah,
Carl
but
Fuchs. Actually, I think that's a deodar cedar. But either way, it's cedars.
either
Yeah,
way,
it's a type of
it was the
cedar.
first one I saw, and it's just like a big old stick that was straight up and down, and it was leaning all the way over, and the top was touching the ground like a little rainbow.
I saw a picture of that.
Yeah.
Yes, it kind of it reminded me of like the Grinch's Christmas tree, like as it bent over like that. That's
Yeah,
in my
it
head
looked just like
anyway.
that. Hmm.
Uh-huh. Well, it's funny is
But
I'm looking out my window right now, and I've got a blue Atlas cedar that y'all actually got me years ago, and it was doing the same thing really bad. It was turned down a lot like yours was. It is standing up better. It still has ice all over it, but it is up a little bit better anyway. So I guess things are on the up.
things are on the up. Maybe not us getting out, but the plants are on the up.
Yes, I think so.
Well, certainly based on the woody fibers of some plants. You're basically it's the same thing as like somebody putting pressure and pulling down on that. And there's tension there. There's energy there. And that's also why you've seen some trees practically explode or
Yeah.
crack furiously because that tension, it's like a loaded spring. And
Hmm.
if it does give, that's why we've been seeing all these branches fall. Otherwise, yeah, that energy is going to be released. And thankfully, the ice is melting. And I feel like that creates a less violent way, except when you're karate chopping plants and playing Power Rangers in the front yard. But I've been the complete opposite. I've been like, touch nothing,
Yeah.
leave it. Everything is still mostly encased in ice. One thing I did notice though, and I maybe I should have intervened, is my eucalyptus. The sun, where the sun hit, it melted the ice on the lower trunk, and the ice was still frozen at the tip to the ground. So because of that, I feel like, well, I saw the trunk actually snapped a little. It didn't
Oh.
completely snap off, but it has like, you know, cracked on the bent side. So I'm gonna see how this recovers. But I was also interested in the single digit temperatures, and I wanted to leave it. I didn't want the ice to come off of it because I didn't want it to affect the foliage since it's a eucalyptus.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I
that
got
is interesting.
so many things that are like question marks right now. Like my phenomenal lavender that was in a container, I decided to leave it out, and it was encased in ice. And
Might be okay.
it might be okay. It was looking okay, at least initially. And so much stuff just completely iced over. So I'm interested cautiously to see how that's going to turn out.
Hmm. Well, you did notice the popping of the trees, and that was the next day after, when I was sitting outside kind of just observing what was going on. I was hearing all sorts of pops through the woods. We live in all woods all around me, so I was just things popping left and right and dropping to the ground. We actually had one large maple tree come down straight across my driveway and onto my best friend's fence that lives right next to me into his field. So had to call a couple buddies who got 4-wheel drive, and they come on over with the chainsaw. We had to get that thing chained up, and we got it out of the driveway, so that's a good thing. But that was a very annoying thing to happen. Thankfully, that's done with. But yeah, only one large one that I saw around me anyway that's actually totally went down. And we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, Tyler, and in Nashville, it was way worse than it seemed to be out here. I mean, you can get online and see pictures. That same buddy I was telling you about, he works for NES actually. Talked to him last night for a while. they all have been working around the clock to get this stuff figured out. And he was like, the trees have been the biggest part and the biggest issue for them to get to work, more so than anything. He was like, there may be 5, 6 trees we got to clear before we can ever get to the pole. So it has been, we got to be patient with those guys. I know he has been working tirelessly because, I mean, they're frustrated too. They want to get power back on. That's their job. And they don't want to be working at, all these long hours in the ice and snow either. So they're trying to get it fixed as quick as they can, but it's just been a long, troublesome process for sure.
Yeah, it's been wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Trees are heavy. Let's just go there.
They're
Like,
so
Not to
heavy.
mention when they're loaded down with
yes,
You
loaded
frozen
were
down
ice.
with
talking
ice.
about sitting on your porch and listening to them. That was wild. Like when everybody woke up, my power had just gone out, and I went out, and you just heard trees falling in my woods. And
Mhm.
just like, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I know. That ice will do it. Oh,
Are
well,
you
is
looking
any,
at the ice right now?
yeah, I'm looking
Listeners, we
outside at
are
the
on
ice.
Zoom, so we can all see each other right now, even though we're not
Uh,
together.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's
is a
like we are, but we aren't.
it's a pretty different episode. We've never actually recorded the podcast intro from our homes. So this is a little bit different. We're
Oh,
usually sitting in the studio all together looking at each other. And we are looking at each other today, but for some odd reason, I have a green screen behind me, and Tyler and Caroline look normal.
you can
But I'm
easily
like,
take that off.
easily?
You can't, never mind. You
I was
know
about
what?
to say,
I
You'll
could tell
never
you
be
how to
able to
do
figure
it,
it
but
out.
it would interrupt the flow a little bit, I think.
yeah, the listeners don't need to hear you explaining to me computers and green screens and such. Plus, I don't
Oh,
even
but
want
I'm
to
so
try.
romantic when I do it. You'd love
So
it.
romantic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I
y'all.
guess. Go ahead, Tyler.
No, I'm thankful to be where I am, but there's just a lot of just like with everybody else, there's a lot of hesitation about when we will see overall normalcy again. Because right now things are still plenty frozen. The roads are clear. Oh, also we should mention that Bates Nursery is officially back open. But because, not everybody could make it there, we're kind of cautiously taking it like if you can get here, get here. If not, and that's going to go through the weekend of this recording. So that means Friday and Saturday included. Next week's looking a little bit better, and definitely in the Nashville area will probably be more reliably, um, ready to go.
Mhm. Well, I think, David Bates for sure is probably knows more about weather than any man I've ever met. And he called it before this whole thing happened. He said, y'all prepare to potentially be not around for almost 2 weeks. So it's looking like he's definitely on point when it comes to that because for me and Caroline anyway, out here where we're at, we still have a few days of this, if not more. So, oh, me.
I'm so ready to get out.
I'm so ready to get out. Yeah,
We
this has
tried
been tough.
yesterday. We made it 2 houses down, and then my husband's truck would not go up the very small incline, so
Yeah.
we backed back down into our driveway.
Yeah, if you don't have a four-wheel drive vehicle, like you don't want to be out there. I've got a buddy that's been able to get around and do some stuff out there. And on my road specifically, he said he saw something like 5 or 6 cars like off the side of the road in a ditch, and they're two-wheel drive vehicles. He was like, "Don't even try it." So
Ugh.
there's that. Ugh.
Yeah.
But hey, I did want to mention something, I guess, when it comes back to plant life a little bit, getting off this, ice rant.
Hmm.
The Justin Browers boxwoods seem to be at the moment alive.
Wow.
Now, the last time this happened and that we had mass death, they didn't necessarily die all that quickly. It was, I don't know, a week or two later that I really started to see damage on those and then eventual mostly death. So I'm keeping my eye on them, but at the moment, they're still green, looking
I
okay.
think they're
So
going to pull through and be great.
I hope so.
This is a little bit different of a situation. We had some snow fall and blanket everything, and then ice kind of like put a cap on the snow because even if you cracked some of that open, that actually the powdery dry snow underneath was still intact. So
Uh-huh.
it's the other freeze event had no snow. It was just bitter cold and bitter dry wind that dried out the leaves and killed a
Mm.
lot of foliage that also wasn't hardened off, which everything is pretty well hardened off here,
Yeah.
except for, kind of zone 70 sensitive stuff that
Hmm.
you would have in a container. So I think things will fare better. And I think I was talking with y'all before this time, and I was just like, I wonder how many people are gonna throw their hands up after this and be like, well, I think I'm done, or if they're gonna double down and replace trees. And I'm sure, I mean, we love trees,
Hmm.
and I think we want to see more, and also trees that are in better shape because there's a lot of older trees, especially in Nashville, and hackberries too. A lot of
Yeah.
species that have been really affected by the aphids and also fungal issues and diseases. So these limbs coming down, this is kind of like nature's way of pruning.
Hmm. I agree with that. I think this, we should call it's going to be the great hack whack of 2026. Hackberries got whacked, y'all. A
They
lot of
did.
Hack
hackberries.
whack.
The hack whack. I like it. It just popped in the old brain. But a lot of hackberries, if y'all ever see them and they do come down, you notice they have extremely hollow trunks a lot of times. Like they will hollow themselves out. I've never really researched that on why that happens all that much, but it does seem to happen a lot. So they're, like Tyler said, brittle, and the hack whack happened, and we're getting rid of some of them hackberries, which is to me not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. That's the only tree damage on my property. It seems like all hackberries.
Really.
One just like split from the center and all the
Uh-huh.
branches, like three huge branches, basically three huge trees that were, one tree to begin with are all down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
my neighbors have a giant maple next to my front yard, and the maple took the ice weight like a champ.
That's how
yeah.
all my
And
maples were.
it was bent down, don't get me wrong, but maybe not more than a 45-degree angle from where it was, no more than 45 degrees. And then now it's already beginning to spring back. And I'm like, maples are my BFFs. I, I,
Yeah.
I love them. And
Well, I would, you got to think, I guess evolutionarily, maples are pretty good at handling that. Let's be honest, the maple leaf is on the country flag of Canada. So, I mean, they're pretty used to, snow and ice pretty well. So, um, that's good. That's good. Keep the maples. I do really like maple trees. What's funny enough is the tree that went down in my yard was a maple tree. Great.
what kind though?
Great.
I don't know, Tyler. I mean, probably a big sugar. I have a lot of sugar maple out here. It might have been a red, but for the most part, sugars kind of dominate where I'm at. And
That's what
it was
this
a
one is.
yeah, it was a large tree though, and it smashed that fence.
Took it out.
Sure
Put a
did.
new gate entryway.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna need one, a big old gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm interested kind of to see what I've noticed around my landscape anyways. I don't have a ton of evergreen stuff, besides my boxwoods that I love. But other than that, I'm not a ton of evergreens out here. I'm more of a deciduous flower power kind of guy. Y'all know that. But I do have camellias, and my camellias have started to get fairly large. They're coming in 5 to 6 foot. I mean, it was so cool looking. I mean, they were beautiful with the ice on them. This glossy green leaf with this sheen of ice on top. And I was like, I don't really love that for the sake of the plant, but at the same time, it was beautiful the way the light was hitting it, and it was a pretty cool look. And I've only got two. Like I said, they're starting to get pretty big now, so we'll see. And camellias are right on. I'm not going to say right on our line, but we're getting there. You know what I mean? So we'll see how they fare through this process. But I got a feeling they'll be all right.
I think they'll be fine. I just realized I do have some bad news.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no.
You know how I have boxwoods named after you guys?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have Austin, Tyler, Adam, and Ben. Shannon died. Uh,
Shannon.
I have a metal roof, so ice has been flying off my roof. And I had a whole sheet of ice that fell onto Kev the boxwood, and he might
Oh,
be
Oh.
split, like splayed out. Adam and Tyler were
what?
further back, and Ben was further forward, but Austin,
An,
you might have been taken out by some ice.
an ice sheet killed Kev.
And I,
That
I
might
don't
be the
think
way
it
I
killed
go.
it, but you're a little bit splayed. Everyone else is doing all right, but I think you were right there where that ice sheet fell. Basically, my
Ah,
whole roof just came down.
oh,
It
good.
also fell on my all gold junipers, so hopefully it didn't break those too bad.
Well, that's another plant. And kind of the reason you have them because I love them so much, and then
Oh,
you
you're
decided
definitely
to
the
get them.
reason I have them. They
So
look great.
great.
I mean, they're peaking up from the snow right now, so
Yeah.
it might
So
not have
your ice,
broken
Hopefully,
any. I don't
so
know,
your
but
ice
that
is, sorry, your ice is trying to just kill me.
it's trying to take you out.
All this stuff.
The A big sheet on the back of our house felt like the whole roof last night fell. I mean, it sounded like there was something like taking our house out.
Hmm.
Pretty exciting. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'll
hmm,
send you to a picture of Kev the boxwood when we get off of here. And you know what? I'll put it on the social media
Please don't.
so
That's
everyone
not,
can see it.
it's not my best
It's not
look.
as bad as it sounds. The other ones are
Well, you're
just more
making it sound
upright and you're
horrible.
yeah,
you're
it
out a
sounds
little bit.
gruesome.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're really not, making making this sound better. All
I think you'll be okay.
right. Well, I guess if we're speaking of boxwood, I'll talk a little bit about mine. They were certainly splayed open. I've seen this many a times with the boxwoods, and I mean, my favorite's a green velvet boxwood, and for sure after this ice, they were all just like wicked open. Like when you think of boxwood, you think super tight growth, green leaves on top of each other, like very dense habit. Not the case with them after this event. They were wide open. I mean, you could see right through them. It's an odd look. I should have taken a picture, and they might still be icy out there. I have to go out and look. But yeah,
I mean, all mine are. I don't, yeah,
yeah, they didn't like it, but they'll be fine.
be
Except for
okay.
except for Kev the box where they got smashed by ice.
Listen, he might be
That
okay.
was
He might
out
just
of
be
your
laid out a little
control.
bit and he's going to come back up. But right
Yeah.
now, there's probably a lot of ice on you and it's going to fall again.
Good.
Yeah.
Round two. All
It's just going to show how tough you are as a boxwood.
right, I'll take that.
Yeah. You're a tough guy. Mr. Tough Guy.
Yeah.
A bright spot in all of this for me was my greenhouse. It did very well. Actually, I think people were asking me, are you worried about it at all? And I was like, nah, not really. Because I think I overbuilt it in a way and it handled everything really well. And when the sun came out a couple days ago, it got up to 83 degrees in there.
Are you
Did you go in
serious?
there?
Yes,
Oh, that sounds so nice.
it was incredible. It was like stepping into a nice summer day for a second. And I still have Mandevilla that's in bloom in there, which is just
Wow.
wild to me. My heater's keeping up. It did the one night it got to single digits. I did notice that there's a temperature probe. It's not part of the heater. It's like just in there, but it lets me know kind of how the temperature's doing. And it was at like 45 or like 47. So the heater was kind of barely keeping up. I only have twin wall polycarbonate in there. I don't have another layer of plastic on the inside, which the double wall would definitely make difference, but it's largely been pretty good. And then thankfully I did put water in the rain barrel that I have in there, so I have unfrozen water that I can use to water the plants. And I did that yesterday because they
Yeah.
were thirsty.
Wow. Well,
So
I'm proud of you, Tyler, because I mean yeah, this has been pretty harsh for greenhouse environments, I'm sure. I'm sure, if people have some greenhouses that how greenhouses get sometimes, like they can get neglected a little, they can, get a little weedy. People don't think about them in the winter all that much, and then you see damage on them. So I'd say your overbuilt greenhouse is great.
yeah, well, we've had windstorms here, and I caused roof damage on my other buildings, and I'm not messing around with this. I
Yeah.
cannot I cannot afford to keep repairing this thing. I want it to be one and done, and so far everything's been good.
Good.
Now, I will say that the having the irrigation setup, I wish I had that going, but I'm kind of glad that I did right now. I didn't right now because I feel like the pipes would be frozen up and like weird stuff would be happening. Like I don't know how that would work. So but one other thing I've been doing is I've been shoveling the ice that is like fallen off into my rain barrel like I'm shoveling coal into a furnace because it's actually refilling my rain barrel. It's the only way to get, fresh water in there right now.
That's a good idea.
Hmm. We've had to
Yeah,
do that because we don't have running water.
yeah, the sea, it's great.
Yeah. So we've been shoveling it into pots and melting it on the stove.
Well,
Yeah,
you gotta do
gotta
what you
make
gotta do in
do.
these times. Yeah,
Yeah. Survival right now.
that's right. Well, speaking of, I guess Tyler and greenhouses and such, so a big part of our show last Saturday with David was talking about how we really took a ton of measures at our nursery at Bates in Nashville to kind of sure up everything and make sure we were good, and we put a lot of work into it. And Tyler, you actually got to go to the nursery the other day. How were you looking out there? I haven't got to see it, so everything seemed to be okay, nothing down or broken or whatnot.
There's only two little trees down that were at the near the biochar production area. But it did not affect that new roof that y'all built. And they seemed like they had come down and they were kind of like leaning on the block wall back there. Other than that, didn't really see anything else from the air. Like the buildings seemed to be in good shape. Now remains to be seen because there were still large sheets of ice on all of the roof sections. So that ice will be coming down and then jamming into the middle of the gutter channel and then melting. But because of the concentration, it's going to take a little while to melt.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully the greenhouse effect will help warm that up and keep it, to where maybe overnight it might melt a little bit more. But I'm glad that David made the decision to reinforce the gutters because it's definitely where everything's heading.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know because we did so much work on the front end. I'd rather not have to go back to work and have to do a ton of like rebuilding stuff. But you know what? Like I even said this on the show, if it happens, it happens. We'll fix it. We always do.
Yes.
That's
Well,
right.
there's no major collapses. That was a big relief to me.
Yeah. Well, good.
So
Well,
hopefully I will be back in the studio Saturday morning. And if some of y'all are virtual, so be it. We will run the show and the show will go on.
oh yeah.
Yes, it will, as it always does.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be there, but who knows at this point?
Who
Hmm.
knows?
Austin, good luck with your driveway.
Thank you. Good luck to
You're
you and
welcome.
your water. And Tyler, good luck to you being out there. Everybody just stay safe. We'll take it slow, see what we can do. But
Yes, we
I think
will.
we'll be back. We'll be back at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
In the
will. One day this
meantime,
ice will melt and
Yeah.
everything
yeah.
will be fine.
In the meantime,
All
enjoy the
right, well,
recap of Saturday's craziness.
Uh-huh.
yep, let's get on into it. So we were all zooming in and we were all here, the three of us with Josh Carey and David Bates.
Good morning, Austin and Caroline, and we're now on camera.
Good morning.
And,
I can't believe I
and,
made this happen. Thanks,
you
Tyler, Caroline, for
know,
helping
it's
me
just
do this.
another one of the things that makes me really proud of you, Austin. You not only did you make all the preparations that we needed to make this week, which were there's the flat version of Austin.
Everybody
Uh,
enjoy this today.
Hey, yeah, we're here. It's all good.
if he seems flatter than usual, well, it's not an illusion. Anyway,
That's why he stands sideways to the wind. It doesn't catch it.
Yeah.
But there has been no shortage of things with regard to the preparations that we have made for over 4 days. I mean, it's been pretty much an all hands effort. Everyone has contributed in their own way, but I don't think there's anybody who's contributed more than Austin and, of course, Adam Chapman, the general manager. Everyone is kind of looked at everything in their department and said, hey, we could use plastic over this door. We need to do this, need to do that. There's a whole lot to be considered. And Adam and I already had a conversation before we went on the air this morning. And, we don't have control over what happens. We've done every preparation we could do. And I'm comfortable with that. And if bad things happen, well, we'll deal with that on the other side. Good morning, Austin and Caroline. And why don't you give us a little more information on your efforts from this week, Austin?
Okay, well, yeah, it's Bates Nursery is a place we all love and we all love to work, and we've put in a ton of work to get it to where it is. So none of us want to see anything go bad or wrong. So it was, all the preparations we did was to just sure everything up pretty much. I mean, make sure that our structures are as sound as they can be and everything's as tight as it can be. The holes are sealed up, all that. So there was a lot of things to kind of go about this week to get it to that point. And it's just amazing to me. And David, this is a tribute to you and how much your staff really cares about where we work because once we got the plan and we set it forth, we were on. We were moving and we didn't stop until we got it done. So it was a lot of work, but honestly, working with the guys and working with everybody, getting heads together, it's I hate to say it's fun, but it kind of is a little bit. I mean, it's nice to be able to work with people you like and you know, create a place that you love to be, and we want to make it great. And like you said, David, if we did everything we could do, and if something bad happens, then our heads will come together again and we'll fix it. So
Yep. Well, I have
it was
every confidence in that. And Caroline, I know your area in the tropicals that fortunately there's not much to do in pottery. So
Right. Hope for the best with pottery.
it is
Kind of
kind
like
of
the lumber yard with the pottery department. And we
Yes.
don't really worry about thermal chill.
It's somewhat self-sustaining, but I know there have been provisions and extra measures that have been made in the tropicals area. Any detail you want to give us on that?
Not much. I mean, just kind of grouping together plants was what I was doing yesterday and watering because we might not be able to go into the greenhouse for a week or so. I mean, hopefully we'll be back sooner than that. But yeah, it was just last minute things, watering and pulling plants together, getting them out of drip zones.
Yeah, based on the forecast, that's very much in question, simply because that we don't know what the weather's going to do, and as it's been clearly stated already, we don't have control over that.
Nope.
But we do have
No, we
control
don't.
over is for the next 45 minutes. Some a semblance of control. No, Tyler Blankenship is the one who's really in control. Good morning, Tyler.
Good
And-
Can we see
morning.
you, Tyler?
Hopefully I'm unmuted. Yes, you
You
can
are.
see
Barbara
me.
can hear you.
Here I am.
There he is.
Hey, picture in picture.
And the Tyler cam is coming from a different direction, as is all the rest of us. He didn't take the time to put his authentic little, and I mean stylish backdrop that he normally works from.
Yeah, so
But-
stylish.
But
It's
thank you
depth, at
for
least.
thank you additionally for all your efforts this week. You know, we all have different areas of responsibility, and Tyler, per usual, is on top of making sure that we have all of the connectivity in place. And we got projects going on that are, well, on hold right now.
Yes.
But that's just the way it is. You know, you take stock of what life is giving you and you reassess. But so thank you for that. And Josh, I'm sure that your efforts in the Crosland world have not gone unnoticed. So
Really?
but in the event they have, I'll just go ahead and notice them right now.
Okay.
The lumber remains where it was, and
Well, I mean, again, when you start we're both in the service industry. Okay. Again,
Right.
the difference is most of your product, folks come pick it out and then take it home with them. Most of our products, we pick it out and bring it to somebody else's house.
right.
So when you lose potentially
A week.
a week, but I don't think it's going to quite be that bad. But we have people scheduling weeks in advance, and if you've had to plan to have something going on Monday, sorry, buddy, probably not going to happen. Okay.
Yeah, and
Not that we don't want to, but you
well,
really.
chances are they're unequipped to deal with it on Monday anyway. I
Right.
mean, if you can't get there, they almost certainly cannot get there either. But we're here to
We are.
just talk about the gloom, despair, destruction, and catastrophes of life. We're here to talk about the hope for good gardening success in the future. That kind of points to all of the things we've been working on this week. And in a bit, Tyler will have some photographs that'll kind of demonstrate the actions we've taken this week to give everyone the assurance that, thankfully, this is not our first rodeo. We've been through a lot of extremes, and we are, as Austin's already said, there's no detail that we have overlooked that we could have attended to.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix Garden Products. creating regionally sourced high-quality soil blends and amendments for the sustainable-minded gardener. Fall and winter are great times to plant in the Southeast, and Earth Mix can help you with Landscape Soil Conditioner. Mix Landscape with your native soil to feed all winter long. Added mycorrhizal fungi help your plants get established faster and increase hardiness through the year ahead. Visit earthmix.net for more information and retailers near you. Remember, success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products.
So we did get a live one in from Sam Boyette. Sam Boyette says, will this storm have any similarities to the cold snap we got a couple years ago? Also, Austin looks amazing at this skewed angle.
Yes.
Thanks, Sam. And to answer your question, I don't believe so. What we had a few years ago was an extreme temperature drop very, very quickly. We have not, we really progressed, I think, nicely into our dormancy season. So we've had plenty of cold temps, even colder than 20. So our plants have really acclimated pretty well. I don't think we're going to see damage so much when it comes to temperature. Crazily, you might see some with some plants for sure that are a little less hardy. And all of us, I think, are most worried about this ice. Ice can really do damage on plants. It weighs them down way heavier. Sticks can break. I know, Sam, you've got a lot of Japanese maples. They can have somewhat brittle wood over the wintertime. So I'm more concerned with that rather than I am with temperatures. And I don't think it's going to be like it was a few years ago.
And as you and I were talking about yesterday, Austin, plants such as boxwood that are very slow growing with heavily dense foliage, probably the single best action you could take, and we've still got conditions where you could do it right after the show.
Yes.
Is to get out there with some twine or any kind of string and simply tie them up. I mean, compress it to a cone to where all that holds together, because what can happen is under the load of ice, the foliage can get splayed out and it can break stems off, destroy those plants. So by doing a simple action like taking a cord and just tying them up together, putting a slip knot in it, just one string around them can be plenty sufficient, and then tie that string off, cut it, and then go to the next one. So if you've got a number out there, particularly of specimen boxwoods, it is worth spending some time to do that, because they're highly susceptible to ice damage, and it won't kill the plant, but it will badly disfigure them unless you do something to prevent it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that question come through or not, but want to make sure and put that out there. So go ahead.
We got really good soil moisture because we got really good rain before it turned off here at south of town. That might not be this case everywhere, but I think nothing like 21, man.
Yeah. So if you are going to do that, I would say kind of go out and do it now, because this just in, it's snowing in Cheatham County. I see it.
I have no windows where I am. I can't see anything.
I'm looking right out the window, Caroline, for you. You're just 10 minutes up the road. It's certainly probably snowing at your house. It's coming. It's tiny little. I mean, I say tiny. It's actually picking, even over the 3 minutes I've watched it. It's kind of picking up out there, y'all.
I like that we're getting live updates from you.
It's snowing in Madison as well.
And I'm also looking at the SmartWay cameras, and traffic is still moving really well, but you could sense a degree of trepidation in the people driving. They go, we got to get there so we can get back. And I think that's accurate.
We ain't got squat.
Got choked up for a moment.
Nothing in Smyrna.
All right.
Yet.
Additional support for Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery, a fourth-generation garden center located in Nashville, Tennessee, offering the widest selection of plants and gardening supplies, from large trees to houseplants and seeds to soil. Their knowledgeable staff will assist you with all your gardening needs. Open year-round, minutes from the heart of Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. Browse their selection online anytime at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
Miriam's out there watching as well.
Miriam!
Here we go.
Miriam!
Hey, it's Miriam!
And Amy Gothic Park. We've already mentioned Jane and Sam. So thank you for
all of our regulars. Love y'all.
So go, Caroline.
All
Yeah.
right. I thought Tyler might be pulling up a picture.
Well,
So
he's
Gina
Absolutely
says,
did.
good morning. We so appreciate all your efforts to be on air. I'm concerned about some of the things I planted about a month ago from Bates. Holly, yew, silver leafed thingy, abelia, and distilium.
Okay. So we're all a little concerned right now because it's very much unknown. Okay. Now, for the most part, the plants you planted are very hardy plants for the most part. The only one I'd be on the fence about a little bit would be Distilium.
Yep.
That does not take our cold temps quite as well as other things. So, but do know, if it does lose its leaves or if the leaves look really bad, give it a minute in the spring. Distilium does have a way of waking back up, but it takes it a while to kind of do that. So, like I said, out of the plants you mentioned, that's probably the only one I'd be a little bit concerned about. But there's not much to do until we know, we're all going to have to kind of deal with this together and see where we're at the end.
Yeah, now what you can do, and we talked about it earlier with regard to boxwood, you could tie that Distilium up and you could cover it with even just a sheet. If you want to go a little extra, put a trash bag over the top of the sheet that's on the plant. Don't put that trash bag directly against the foliage. And what that does, you're creating a small greenhouse effect. Then you can, I mean, do whatever you need to do to hold the trash bag on. Get a bungee strap or duct tape it around the bottom. And if you can apply a little mulch or just weight the edge of it down so that it holds in that heat from around it, it'll come through it without any, I mean, it won't drop a leaf if you can do that. So if that one
Folks,
plant, that
folks,
one plant,
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
David.
Well, that one plant, like Austin, of all you mentioned, is the only one of concern. Uh, Other things that are kind of have a splayed growth habit, if you want to put one single string around them and tie them up a little tighter, that will help them to deal with the ice. That's the other thing that can be concerned.
Yes. And David said, put the sheet on first,
Yes,
then the trash bag, not
yeah,
the opposite way around.
correct.
Hmm.
So,
Hey, and then we did get a question about the ice. Amy says, hi, y'all. If landscape plants get bent to the ground, should I try to knock the ice off?
I,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of depends for me. If you can, I don't see why it would hurt. You just got to be careful when it's really cold and they're really
Yes.
brittle. So if the stems are covered with ice, if you could kind of I mean, you might do more damage if you do that. This is kind of a tricky
Hmm.
thing here. If you
yeah,
could get it off easily without it breaking, then sure. But if you're worried about that, then maybe just kind of leave it alone. Ice will, especially on deciduous plants, ice can coat all the stems. It rarely ever affects buds. Your buds are very tight. They're not going to open until spring. So the ice will get on there as long as they stay and they don't, even if it's bent, yeah, it will probably thaw out and they'll probably stand back up for you. So tricky scenario with the ice though, not going to lie, y'all.
yeah. And again, consider tying those things you have concerns about splaying out with a string. Just pull it
Yes.
together, put one rope around it, and that will hold everything
Hmm.
together and protect the structural integrity of the stems. And therefore, it'll just kind of cone up on the plant, and the ice itself will not be damaging. It would be actual cold,
Gravity.
extreme, yeah, gravity and cold temperatures. That way, just let it melt off on its own. There's no
Mhm.
real benefit in trying to dislodge that ice.
Very good.
Perfect. And then Gothic Park, which I love that name, on YouTube says, we are in Arkansas. Do you think we will lose our gardenias, tea olives, angel trumpets, elephant ears, canna, etc.? Angel trumpet is one of my favorite plants.
Yeah, the boy, and the another part of all the research I've done this week, and particularly with regard to Arkansas, they may actually get considerably colder than we do here due to the way that the temperatures are.
Ooh,
So there are legitimate concerns there. Anything you can do to protect those things,
Hmm.
be advised. So, we talked about tying them up, covering with a sheet with a trash bag, sheet first, trash bag second, to protect individual plants. And because we're going to have winds, and I don't know if you've looked deep enough into the forecast, we're going to have some really strong winds. If you don't, whatever you do, if you don't really get it on there securely, it may just blow off. So, uh,
Yeah.
the
Gothic,
time,
your elephant ears are still up?
No,
Well,
they won't be up.
Well, they
I
might be
think they just
dormant in
mean
the ground,
Right.
but
they're probably dormant. Yeah, and I got to say, that whole plant list you gave,
every one of
that
them.
every one of them susceptible to damage, if not death. Even around here where we're at, and I guess Arkansas is very similar to us. So,
No, it's
like
not.
your angel, yeah, your angel trumpet probably not coming back.
That's North
Gardenia might
Mississippi.
see some damage. It may not die, but you might see damage on that, or almost certainly see damage.
And
So, yeah.
the problem with Arkansas is they're west and south of us,
Yes.
and so they're already well into the precipitation. So it's not to say that they can't do it now. You're gonna have to put some rain gear on to get out there, or some appropriate attire to be able to get out there and work in the garden. And you can do that. It is worth the effort.
it
And
will be.
by the way, I'm okay with us going a little long if we need
Okay.
to.
Well, so what
Uh,
I'm thinking is, David, we'll end the show with the slideshow, but
okay.
let's get to everybody's questions so we can calm some
I
nerves
think
with
that's a
all this
good
cold
plan.
weather.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
we've got a question from Joan saying, I've got big pots with pansies and spring bulbs. Should I cover them?
Uh, if they're out in the elements, maybe are they covered? I mean, if they're already covered by some sort of roof or whatever, I guess you can. It wouldn't hurt to throw something over the pansies, but pansies have a good way of living through even stuff like this. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're real concerned, certainly throw something over them. It's not going to hurt.
Toss something over, give them a little blanket. And then Mikey on YouTube says, when you water a bromeliad, you water just the leaves. That's what I was told. So kind of, yeah. They like the humidity when you do water them. And I water the leaves to get water to go into the cup of the plant. So if you look at, got to point the other way, at the bromeliad that's next to me, you see the bloom spike coming from the middle. So that's coming from what we call the cup. So before the bloom spike happens, when you water the leaves, the water runs off into that cup and they like to keep water in it. But you do also want to water the soil if they, we're back to the video, if they are in soil.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
It's
There we go.
once they start to shoot that bloom spike, I personally stop keeping water in the middle of the plant in that cup because sometimes it will rot the
Yep.
flower as it comes out. So before the flower starts to emerge, keep water in that cup. But as soon as you start to see that bloom, that bud poking out, go ahead and stop watering the middle of the plant and just water the soil.
Very
But that's a
good.
great question, Mikey. Yeah,
It was.
Would you
they're
use
really, really good
Would you use
plants.
a misting bottle, Caroline?
Yeah, you could use that definitely on that plant. It would like it. It would like a little
Mhm.
bit of humidity, a little bit of misting.
And if you got
Okay.
questions, you got time to get them in because we're going to go long today. So if there's something that you intended to get a question out about, go ahead and bring it. We'll do our best to cover it.
We'll get to it. So someone is asking, and I feel this one, how will our porch and driveway plants handle all this cold over the next 5 days? Y'all know
Yep.
I have a lot, but I did bring in my more like tender plants. My osmanthus that I hadn't planted, I brought that in. My flying dragon, it's pretty hardy, but I went ahead and brought that one in as well. But the rest of them, I just clumped up to, maybe keep each other warm. And I'm hoping that the snow that falls on top will kind of insulate them.
Hopefully, the safety in numbers theory.
Yeah.
That's right. And a lot of numbers on my driveway.
Bring them in a circle. You got to have so you watch the perimeter all the way around.
Mhm,
Yeah.
circle them on up.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. I'm checking the live questions. I think we're good right now. So let's get to some that were asked before. Will my plant suffer if any salt on my sidewalk, like basically gets beside the plant? So if you salt your sidewalk and it gets into the plants, will they be okay?
It's possible. However, it's more likely to be something that would occur over multiple saltings over an extended time period. Chances are you're not going to change the soil salinity enough just by whatever you're going to put down on there. So I would not view that as a great concern. I'm trying to think of what are the salt
Yeah.
tolerant plants that people might have in the landscape, Austin, but nothing really comes to mind right off the top of my head.
And most
I'm
of the
with
ice
you on
melts.
that. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Josh.
Most of the ice melts have very little sodium chloride in them anyway. It's a different
Right.
chemical compound. And
Yeah.
if you read your bag, you don't want to put it on there like preen, but I would say that you'd be okay to.
Yeah, and try to keep it on the sidewalks.
On the sidewalk. Yeah.
Don't be broadcasting it out into the dead areas around it. The plants
Yeah.
don't need it.
No, and I'm with you on that one.
Just where you're
I don't.
walking.
Yeah, I don't think that you're going to have damage occur with just a one salting. I think what David's talking about is the salt tolerant plants, that we have, or whatever. That's way more for like your coastal areas that are really seeing that salt off the ocean or whatever. So I don't think with all the stuff we could be concerned about, I'd say that's probably one of the lowest
Right.
when it comes to damage.
All right. And then it looks like our final question, unless we get another live one in while we answer this, do I need to be worried about my potted perennial plants that are zone 7 in this cold weather?
Yes.
It certainly, I mean, we are zone 7, y'all. So, I
Yes.
mean, and zone 7, what is it, Tyler? You always remember this. Is it kind of
You lose
less than,
two hardiness zones when it's above the ground.
uh-huh. And we're getting less than 10 almost certainly, and we're also potentially getting less than 0. So is there potential for
Ugh.
damage? Most definitely.
Yeah.
If you can bring them in your shed, your garage, your whatever, like if you just have a root ball, with nothing up top, and that's going to freeze solid outside. Now, is that always a bad thing? No. As plenty of times our plants at the nursery will freeze solid down low. They naturally thaw and they're usually fine. But if they are a zone 7, that's whenever you're going to see the damage. So if you could just get them in, I mean, I don't even care at this point if you bring them in your house. It's
And
better
if
than
you,
out there.
if you can't get them in, you should do what we do, and we spent 4.5 hours irrigating everything, and it's counterintuitive. It seems like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would you want to soak something before a freeze? It is absolutely the right thing to do. It provides insulation. It fills those pore spaces in the soil. It will provide considerable extra insulation and also prevent the dehydration that can occur during an extreme cold spell. So get out there and soak those right now. I mean, you probably got your hose put away, string it out, get it turned on, and soak those. I mean, you cannot put too much water on them. And then drain your hose back out immediately and stow it away. That way you'll be ready on the other side, and hopefully you can come through it okay. But again, a zone 7 perennial in a raised pot is essentially a zone 5, a zone 9 perennial.
Pot. Yep. Very good.
So,
And where
All
you're
right, we did get a live question in from Gothic Park, one more that says, we are also worried about our 33 Japanese maple. Do y'all think they will be okay?
Whew.
it should be. And
Japanese maple should be fine.
yeah,
Part of Arkansas, Gothic.
yeah, and
I mean,
most
seriously,
now the ice is something that is an exclusionary detail in that. Now they're all defoliated now. Obviously, they are. If you have done a decent job on pruning them, keeping dead wood out, it's going to accumulate. But there's no threat of cold weather. The greater threat is some other nearby tree.
falling on them.
Yes. Now that could be legitimate. So the cold weather and the ice in and of itself is probably not that big of a deal. Again, if it is, say, a Emperor One or a Red Select or something that is a more widely branched tree, if you can get a couple people out there to pull the branches in and get one cord around it to hold them together, that will mitigate much of the potential damage. But it's not going to kill it. Now, it may be, Austin, you certainly have a lot of experience on this. It may be a good excuse to do pruning come springtime, and it may be quite extensive that you got to do, but they will not die.
No, it's pretty rare for them to die. And what might happen is that our Mother Nature will do a little natural pruning for us on any limbs that are, more weak, or there was like dieback from last year that hadn't been cleaned up. That ice might get on there and just kind of maybe naturally prune some of that for you. And think of it as a natural prune. Don't think of it as these limbs are dying or whatever. Okay, let's just be okay with what is going to happen here. But you're not going to see death on your Japanese maples for the most part.
And on the SmartWay cameras that are out on the northwest side of town, I'm beginning to see snow on the edges of the roads. So just be advised of that. We are already into the deteriorating stage of conditions. So be advised that the travel from this point forward is going to go downhill
Yep.
quickly. So be mindful of that. And I guess this is the point where we're going to show preparations around the nursery. Maybe we can put a little dialogue underneath that, and then we'll close it out.
Very good.
Okay, so here we'll begin with outside the green room.
Yeah, now these are all conifers, and you correct me if I make a mistake. Also, these are all conifers that are laid down. Again, these are very hardy plants. We simply want to protect from any potential burn. Because they're laying down, and we have pulled a frost cloth over the top. The precipitation, ice, snow, whatever, sleet will just simply pile up on top of it. So after it's all done, we can pull the covers off, stand them back up, and they're as good as they were before, no different.
That's right.
And a more example of more conifers down alongside. These are our deciduous tree lot, same approach. It protects the trees really well. It's questionable whether they even need any kind of protection, but we kind of go the extra mile here because we like to assure people that things are going to be prime when they come in.
Well, and if you make them top, if you add a half an inch of ice to each one of those, it's going to make it even more top
Oh, yeah,
heavy than it is. So
yeah.
it falls over and breaks. Yeah, it's a good idea, dude.
Now this is inside our annual greenhouse, as the sign says, and this is where Austin's efforts were front and center this week. I was trying to devise a plan to come up to support the structure better, and Austin came up with one inherently better than mine. We installed about 56 by 6 posts throughout the structure to support. We have this old boiler pipe, which is that you see in all these, the green pipe, which has been great. It's kind of an heirloom piece because those pipes have come from our original location to the Bates Florist location while my dad and uncle were there in business together, and eventually over to here. And so for that pipe is like 140 years old, so it was not structurally sound enough to support a load. Now we feel much greater confidence. All of the load from the structure above now rests on those posts. So we're much more confident than we would have been this time last week. Is that not true, Austin?
That's very true. Yeah, I'm
Now we've got other
certainly
structures.
confident.
We've got these Quonset hubs, storage buildings, where we had a support in the middle, but these are 200-foot long buildings. So we have additionally added stacks of pallets that go all the way to the purlin on the center line of the building, so that as the building starts to come down, it's got something to support it. So we've done that, and if our insurance company is checking these out, we're okay with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, we can't prevent bad things from happening, but we certainly know how to take all the measures, and we have done so. So we're grateful to have that opportunity and to get to be here today with all of you. Josh, you have final words?
Well, we see a viewer in New York City. Hey, all right, how are you
Hey.
doing?
Oh,
We're sending it your way.
Yeah, buddy.
They're going to get piled on snow ice depending on where they are in New York, but it could be
Boston
uh,
too.
yes, more than a foot, possibly. So you know what? Everyone across the country, as we said, from West Texas all the way through the Northeast, needs to be on guard and on alert and be prepared. I don't know that we've ever had anything quite like this, that it covers so many people, many millions of people. And our examples here today of just how one business and the staff therein is trying to take note of the situation and do everything we can to be prepared. And we hope each of you have been able to do the same and are safe
Absolutely.
throughout this, because there is life on the other side. This is not gloom and doom. It's just what it is. So
Okay. When if you lose power, and the one thing that I come to mind, David, is that you want to be very careful that you have some ventilation if you've got supplemental heat going on. because you do not want to asphyxiate yourself. So, I mean, just
Right.
be careful
And
with that.
using
Watch your,
combustibles in the house can be dangerous.
okay. Yeah. You don't want to put a charcoal grill in there.
Don't
Not
put
a
your
good idea.
generator in the garage unless you're able to
No,
open
don't
the
do that.
door and vent it out. You need to be really smart about all of that. So think it through before you take those actions.
Yeah. And if you do not have to be out, don't go.
No.
Okay. There's no reason to be out at this point in time. The grocery stores are empty anyway. So we want you back next Saturday
Yep.
for another Gardening Inside Out. Hey, we're all thinking about you. We really are. And we want you to be back here for us so we can have fun with you, because
Yep.
we enjoy doing this program for you. And hey, if you like us, subscribe, share, tell the friends, wake the dog, let everybody know. Watch for the podcast in mid part of the week where you can get chicken coop tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give you all kinds of advice and
Best use of
Yeah.
poached
Ramblings.
poultry netting.
If you're feeling cooped up next week, it's not limited to just chickens.
Hey,
No.
That's right.
All righty. Hey, for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, we do thank you for joining us this morning, and we'll see you right here next Saturday morning.
Bye.
Bye.
Tyler here. Gardening Inside Out podcast is looking for sponsors for 2026. If you have a business that's plant and gardening related, or if you know of one, please get in touch with us at gardeninginsideout@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to Gardening Inside Out. It's hard to believe we're into our third year as a podcast, and we love hearing from you as we learn who our listeners are and what y'all enjoy about it. If you love the show, we greatly appreciate any likes, follows, shares, or word of mouth recommendations. If you've already done so, thank you for your support. There's many ways to get in touch with us, so send us a text with the fan mail feature or email gardeninginsideout@gmail.com. Happy gardening and see you next week.